Okay, hi all, good afternoon. So, in today's session, we are going to see the new topic is called as materialized view. So, let me share my screen now, and please let me know if the screen is visible. Okay, let me share my screen. Please let me know if it is visible. So, the materialized view is nothing but I will open the PPT. So, the materialized view is it is a DB object. Okay, it has created over an SQL query, which is very similar to the view in SQL. Okay, Postgres. So it mostly it is common in all the languages. Okay, Oracle or whether it is in all the SQL language. It is very common, and also the concept is also common. Okay, the materialized view is a type of view that store the result of a query as a physical table, which means in a view we have seen already, right? We have seen about the view. What the view will do is it will not store any result set. It will store only the definition of the table. Whenever we are calling that view, okay, select star from that view name, it will try to execute that query only. Okay, but in materialized view, it stores the result set of that query. Okay, the answer table. Okay, that after some select query, we got one table, right? So what it will do is it will store that result. Okay, result of the table as a physical table. Whenever we are calling this view, materialized view, it will fetch that particular table only. It will not going to execute any query. Okay, but internally, what this materialized view will do is it will store two things. Okay, it will store SQL query, and one more thing what it will store is it will store the data returned from SQL query. That means the result set. It will store the result set from the SQL query. So these two things got stored internally. But while calling, okay, please keep this in your mind. While calling this materialized view, select star from that materialized view name. Okay, while calling that materialized view, it will brings the result set only. Okay, it will not going to execute this query. It will brings only the result set. Okay, while involving in complex calculations, it is more powerful. Using the materialized view for very big query. For example, if my data consists of millions of records, 10 millions of records like that, if I'm going to execute some query on 10 million records and I'm going to generate a report on that, it will take at least 1 or 2 minutes, right? If I do the materialist view for that query, my time saved drastically. Right? That you can see the drastic change in the cost. Okay, so that is the main advantage of this materialized view. Okay, so and also you need to do this materialized view in an infrequently used changes of the data occurring table. Okay, the table should not be updated like daily basis, or what to say, for every hour, for every minute. So you cannot apply materialized view for that kind of table, for that kind of base table. That is one important point. Okay, we will see why this kind of restrictions are happening in the materialized view. Okay, we will see shortly. Okay, and also I will try to create one materialized view, and I will show you the difference between normal view and materialized view, and after that we will come to all these points. You will come to know why we are doing such thing, why we are restricting this materialized view. Okay, so this is the syntax for the materialized view. What we have did for the view, create view and view name. This is the syntax for materialized view. Create materialized view and view name. Then normal select query. Okay, whatever the query you wish to do inside, you can do it. And in order to refresh the materialized view, why we need to do the refresh, I will tell you shortly. Okay, I will tell you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to write a query to generate millions of records. Okay, in a single query, I'm going to generate a millions of records, so that only you can able to understand the performance of the materialized view, how fast it is in compared to the normal view. Okay, so I'm going to generate a million of records using the generate series and random. Okay, random of function. So create table. We will keep the name as random table like that. Okay, random anything. ID should be int, and my val, I'll keep this val as a decimal. Okay, I'll keep this val as a decimal. Just I'm going to create a simple table which consists of ID and one value. ID is nothing but it should be an integer, and this value is nothing but it should be a decimal. Now for this decimal, for this val, what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a millions of rows at a time. Okay, let us see how to do it. Insert into what is the table name? Rand tab. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert the first row by using the select command. Select one. One is nothing but my ID. Okay, this is the first. Okay, this is the first column, and that column value is 1, comma. I'm going to generate a random number. For that, I'm going to use random of function. Okay, random of using random of function from, okay, from where we have already seen the generate series, right? The generate series function used to generate the series of number. We used to give the starting point, stopping point, and the step for that generate series function as a parameter, right? So we have already seen about the generate series. If you didn't attend that particular class, please go through the recorded video, generate series of. Okay, this is the function. So it has 3 parameters, right? Starting point, stopping point, and the step. So we can ignore the step. Now I am taking just my starting point is 1, and now I'm going to generate an ones, tens, 100,000, 10,000, lakh, 10 lakh. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm going to generate a 10 lakh of record. Okay, ones, tens, yes, 10 lakhs of record. Okay, I'm going to insert a 10 lakh of record at a time. So what this will do, this will generate the random numbers. Okay, there is a random of function will generate some random numbers between this range. Okay, from 1 to 10 lakh. Okay, I'm going to generate this much of numbers, and all these numbers are some random numbers. So this random function, what it will do, it will generate some random number. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. So I will just insert one more ID column also, so that only we can able to process. Okay, here the same thing. I'm going to insert the ID column 1 as a first thing. first value and 2 as a second value. So for this, the same process, I'm going to generate the values from, I will take it as a 2. Okay. So likewise, we can able to generate any number. Okay. Let us try to create this. I'm going, okay. I've been open the Postgres, SQL. I'm giving the password. Okay. So I'm just trying to increase the font size, and I'm going to connect it with our database nmdb as, right. So now I'm connected with our database. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a table. So the table got created. The table consists of two columns, ID column and decimal column. Here, while inserting, I'm going to insert 10 lakhs of records at a time by using the random off function and generate series. Okay, this generate series will generate the series of number from 1 to, this is starting point and this is stopping point, and this is the random number. Okay, let us try to create it. It will take 1 or 2 seconds because we are going to generate the 10 lakh of records. So here I'm going to generate another 10 lakh of records with the ID 2. So now here we are having this ID 1 and ID 2. Okay. So here we have 999 because I have given from 2. Oh, okay. I given 5. That's okay. I given from 2, so it subtracted one number. Okay, so now we are having nearly 20 lakh of records. Nearly. Okay, so one record is reduced. So nearly 20 lakh of record. So now what I am going to do is, okay, I will try to give see the count. Okay, select ID, count of ID. Okay, from rand tab group by, what is group by ID. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to execute and show this to you. See here, my ID 1 consists of 10 lakh of records, and my ID consists of my ID 2 consists of 999 of records. Okay, so 9,99,999 of records. So one record less than 10 lakh. Okay, so it consists of nearly 20 lakh, right? So I have created. Now what I'm going to do is I just want to okay, I will just want to calculate an average. Okay, so average of val, and also count of count star, anything, count of ID or count star, anything, count of 1. So you can give it as 1 is equal to star, anything. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this. No, you can see here it has calculated the average for the 20 lakh of records, and the count also given. So in order to do this process, okay, in order to do this process, let us see how much of time it is taking. Okay, I'm going to give explain of. I'm going to give this query inside the explain of. So that we can able to see the cost. Now this is the first thing. This is the normal query. Okay, so this is the first point. This is the normal query. We have generated nearly 20 lakh of records, and we have did some calculation, did some aggregate function and group by and everything. We will see the first thing. We will see how much time it is taking. Okay, the second thing, I'm going to create a view. Okay, and third thing, I'm going to create a materialized view. And now we are going to compare these three things, how much cost it is taking. Okay, so that only you can able to understand how the materialized view is efficient when compared to normal execution of the query and the view. Okay, hope you guys getting my point. If you have any doubts, please let me know. Okay, please let me know. Please put it in the chat box. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a view. Okay, so how to create a view? We have already seen, right? How to create a view. Create. So this is the syntax, right? Create view. I will take it as VW for that. This is just a name. Okay, rand tab. So this is the table name, and the VW represents the view. Okay, this is just a view name as. So I will take the same query. I will take the same query. Okay, let me take the same query. Okay, so now I have created one view. Now the third thing what I'm going to create is I'm going to create the same query. Okay, for the same query, I'm going to create a materialized view. Okay, so materialized, spelling wrong, materialized. Okay, let us see. Materialized. Okay, spelling is correct. Okay, let us see then why it is not changing the color. I don't know. Okay, so here first thing is normal query. Second thing is I have given the same query inside the view, and the third thing is I have given the same query inside the materialized view. I have created one materialized view here, and I have generated the normal view here for the same query. Okay, so I'm going to change the name for the materialized view as MV. Okay, so we will see the I'm going to generate it, and after generation we need to call the view, right? Select start from. So here I'm just calling the view. Okay, similarly here select start from. This is my view, right? So this is my materialized view. So let us try to compare. Okay, so let us try to compare these three things, and I will give it inside the explain. Okay, so I will try to give this inside the explain, so that only we can able to understand how it is differing. Okay, so these three things we have created. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the first thing. Please note it down. So this is the normal query. Okay, so this is the normal query. I'm just giving it under the explain. So see how much cost it is taking in order to execute the 20 million of records, right? Nearly 20 lakhs, no, 20 lakhs of records. How much cost it is taking for the normal query. Okay. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a view. Okay. We will try to create a view here. I have created a view and I am just copying this cost. Okay. I'm just copying this cost and keep it here, so that only we can able to differentiate. This is the cost of this query, this particular query. Okay. And I have created a view, normal view, and I'm just okay. This is the cost. Okay, nearly for the normal query and the view, it is almost the same. Because why it is almost the same? Because it is executing the query only, right? So the view which store this particular query, okay, internally, and for each and every time if I call this, okay, if I call this view, it will internally execute this query only. So almost it is same, right? And now here comes the materialized view. Okay, here comes the materialized view. Now I am copying I'm just pasting it. You can see now I have created the materialized view. So this materialized view, what this materialized view internally will do is, after executing this query, okay, after executing this query, this is the result we got, right? It need to calculate the average of it. 10 lakh records and sorry 20 lakh records, right? It need to calculate the average of 20 lakh records, and it need to count the 20 lakh records, right? And in order to do all these things, it takes this much of cost. It's in the millisecond, right, for the normal query. But for the materialized view, for this particular 20 lakh of record, what it will do is it will store this result internally. Okay, so here what it does is it store the result internally. Okay, it store the result of this query internally. So when I'm calling, you can see here, when I'm calling, see here how drastically the cost got reduced. Can you see the difference? How the cost reduced? See here how many millisecond. So this is for 20. This is for 20 lakh of records, right? In real time, there might be 30, 40 lakh of records or crores and crores of records are there. And if we are processing all those records, then I'm sure that it will take for the normal query and for the normal view, it will take nearly 1 minute, which means 60 seconds and more than 60 seconds. It might be. Okay, but when we are saving it as, and when we are generating that particular query into a materialized view, then we can do drastic, we can see the drastic change in the cost. Okay, this cost is nothing but it related to the memory, CPU and time, everything. Okay, on whole it will save our cost. Okay, so you can see how drastically it got changed. So what is the reason behind this? So we are going to see the difference, okay? Difference and the reason behind why this materialized view is this much faster. Okay, because it store the query internally, and while executing the select statement, okay, while executing the select statement, it returned that result set itself, the table itself. It's not going to execute any query from the first. Okay, it will store this part. This is the output, right? This is the output. This is the output for the to process the 20 million of record. So after this creating the materialized view, it will store this result. Okay, it is not going to execute this particular query again. While calling this statement, it will bring the result alone. Okay, so you can ask, ma'am, what happened when I change this base table? What happened when I change this base table? For example, if I what happened, if I delete this two, okay, if I delete this ID 2, so we will have only one record, right? Just a minute. Okay, we will proceed. Sorry for the interrupt. So drastically, our time will get reduced because it's not going to execute the query, right? And what if when I delete this? What if when I delete this? Okay, so it stored the just a minute. So if so I need some refreshment, okay, for each and every time. If any changes occur in the base table, I need some refreshment with respect to the materialized view. So you can take it as that is the one of the disadvantage, or you can take it as so it depends on, I will not say that as an disadvantage. It depends on the usage. Okay, if I am using that wisely, for the table which doesn't face any frequent changes, okay, then it is an advantage, right? So, so how to do the refresh, okay, how to do the refresh. So I will try to explain you when there is a change in the, okay, when there is a change in the base table, okay, when there is a change in the base table, how my materialized view is reacting, how the normal view is reacting, okay, we will see the difference between both, okay. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete delete. Is the recording going on? Yes. Okay. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this ID2, okay, from the run table. Delete from, what is the table name? Rand app, right? So with the condition where ID equal to 2. So it will delete all the records with respect to the ID2. Okay. So after deleting this, what I'm going to do, I will just run. Okay. I will just run this one. Okay. I will just run this particular query and show it to you. Okay. And I will just run this view, okay, and show it to you. So the first thing is normal query. Here the second thing is the view, and the third thing is the materialized view. Okay, I will try to run this and show this to you whether this delete operation reflected in my in the view or not. So that is what we are going to see. Okay, this is a normal query. After doing the delete, this is the normal query, and this is the view, and this is the materialized view. So we are going to see the difference. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to just delete. Here we have seen the performance of the materialized view. Now here we are going to see about the refresh. Okay, how frequently it is getting refreshed. So that thing we are going to see. So here I have deleted the record, and we are going to see whether it is reflecting in the normal query. Yes, of course it is reflecting. Okay, so the two ID2 got deleted, right? The ID2 got deleted. Now I'm going to do a view. Okay, so you can see here this is a normal view. Of course it is reflecting in the view also. So we will see in the materialized view. See, it is not getting reflected. Why? Because still now it is, while calling this materialized view, it is retrieving the result set which is stored in the memory. This is the result set. It got stored while executing after creating the materialized view. This is the result set. Only one time it will execute, and it will store the result in its memory. Okay. So after deleting or doing any changes in the base table, in the results, in that result set, it has already stored. It will not going to reflect unless until you should do the refreshment. Okay, you should do the refresh manually with respect to the materialized view. That is the only point which you need to keep it in your mind. So how to do the refreshment? How to do the refresh? So what is the syntax is? You can see here. Say refresh materialized view and its name. So this is the syntax, right? So here refresh materialized view and this is the name, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the refresh. Now it got refreshed. Okay, so whatever the thing, okay, whatever changes we did in the base table, now it will reflect in the materialized view table. Okay, now you can see here it got reflected. Sorry. You can see here the thing which I have deleted, it got reflected in the base table. Okay, in the materialized view. So this is why we need internally the SQL will went and execute the materialized view query, and it will update the recent data got updated or deleted. Okay. So after refreshment, that is what happening. Okay. So for this kind of thing, normally we don't use this materialized view to the query which is taking very long time to execute. Okay. For all the query, I mean for all the queries which is executing for the long time, we will not do the materialized view for all those queries. For what kind of queries we used to take is, we instead of that we can use the case that we are not bother about the base table latest data whether it got updated or not. Okay, for the larger query only we will use the materialized view, so that only larger query, larger kind of data, it is going to process some millions of data. But you need to keep this in mind, that base table updating, okay, updating of the base table should not happen frequently with respect to the materialized view. Okay, this should be this is a very important point. You need to keep that in your mind. Okay, when the base table got updated for once in a month or once in a week, like that, for every time it got updated, then you can do the refreshment manually like this. Okay, you just go and refresh it, and the query will be updated. So if it is saved more time, if many clients and many people who are generating the reports, so that might be very useful if you save this kind of that kind of a table, and the materialized view will be very useful for that kind of table. Okay, so hope you guys understood this difference. Okay, we will try to make a difference. Okay, I will tell you what is the main difference between, okay, I will tell you what is the main difference between the view and the materialized view. Okay, the first thing is, the first thing about view and materialized view. Okay, so the first thing you need to keep it in your mind is, every time it go back while calling the view, every time it go back to its query and execute the query. Okay, every time while calling, it goes back and execute the query, right? So this is with respect to the, this is with respect to the view. But in materialized view, okay, what will happen, it just return the stored result set, okay, of the query. So this is what happened. Okay, it just return the stored result set of the query, so that only it is very faster. Okay, it is slower compared to materialized view. It is faster, right? So that is the reason it is a faster one when compared to the materialized view. And if any changes in the base table, if any changes in done in base table, okay, so if any change is done in the base table, it reflects, okay, every time it reflects in view while calling it, because it it is executing that query. Okay, executing the query means for every time it will call the base table. So automatically the changes got reflected. But with respect to the materialized view, if any changes in base table, then it will not going to reflect, right? It will not reflect in materialized view because it returned the already stored data in the memory, right? Because it will return the stored result in memory. So that is the reason. Okay. So no, here for this one, no need to do refresh. Need for refreshment and all. But for the view, need manual refreshment. Right? So this is the thing. This is the basic difference between view and the materialized view. So just keep this in your mind. This might be asked in most. These are the most common question they will ask in the interviews. Okay. So what is the materialized view and the view? So you need to keep this in your mind. Okay. So that is all about today's session. We will stop the recording.